What's up, guys?
Hi, how's it going? This is Alex.
This is either episode 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And we've been killing the game. You know, I already feel like we're probably, by quality, the best MMA podcast.
Yeah, way better than Uncle Chael. MMA world sucks.
Joe Rogan Experience who?
Garbage.
We've essentially supplanted everybody in our space already. It's been a meteoric rise. Do I even say featherweight Conor McGregor levels of stratospheric?
I think so.
Or
Rise. Honestly, thank you for all the lovely comments and all the wonderful well wishes. We really appreciate it. You guys are our biggest fans. It's awesome. Yeah.
We're just kind of getting worried because we think you guys are gargling our cocks a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like, don't take what we say as facts.
And honestly, if you actually disagree with us, please let us know in the comments. And
that's not a joke. Throw out the parts where a joke. Yeah. But guys, tell us. Like, if you disagree with the point we're making, tell us why. Because we always are down to have a little bit of a discussion. And if you make a good point, we'll use it in the podcast. We'll bring it up. And if you change our mind, we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Deontay Wilder in 3 fights will be considered the greatest of all time heavyweight.
No, because Joe Louis is still the greatest of all time heavyweight. But that's just my opinion.
I don't know, man. He's catching up to Rocky Marciano. His heavyweight knockout ratio is ludicrous.
I think he lost against Tyson Fury, who we called out this weekend, which was great.
We'll see, but the scorecards disagree with you. History will forget that it was even controversial.
No, that's not true.
That highlight,
so controversial.
The highlight of Fury getting knocked down, laying down, seeing and ascending up to heaven.
No.
It's gonna live on for eternity.
No. This is why it was Fury's moment, because he literally got resurrected from the dead, and willpower just pushed him through. So,
Boxing Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Masvidal is MMA Jesus.
Yeah.
And honestly, Fury looked. I mean, let's be really honest. I love Wilder, but Wilder did not look good until he knocked him out. But I feel like that was the most Wilder fight you could have possibly showed somebody.
And what was crazy is that when it said that how many shots were thrown by Wilder,
that was
still
so
beating
surprised.
Ortiz.
That was ridiculous.
That was stupid.
I do think boxing has a major problem with how they tabulate their scores.
Sure.
Where they're like MMA does a decent job of discriminating between significant strikes and like. Let's take a southpaw hand fighting, like Johnny Hendricks versus Robbie Lawler. Those fights, so much hand fighting going on. None of which was counted as a strike on any computational forms. And not that the judges are using those same forms in boxing, but I still think it's ridiculous. Like, if whatever software you're using to tabulate stuff is counting that as a blow, it's the software's got an issue.
Right.
If there's someone ringside who's a person who's counting that.
They've got an issue.
Yeah, they've got an issue. So, I kind of wish I could get a hold of boxing, like get my hands on it, because I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to fix it.
Sure.
Like,
well, that's why beautiful Zuffa is ready.
Oh, wow! What a damn segue! My co-host out here. That's why we're the #1 MMA podcast in the damn game. Hit him, Alex. Hit him.
Speaking of Zuffa and Mayweather. What do you think about that news? That's crazy.
Man, it's so nuts. Like, so should we just talk about who Money Mayweather
is going to be fighting next
in 2020? I think this is the perfect time. This is who my wise mind, my honed mind from years in the combat sports space, Floyd Money Mayweather in 2020 is going to be fighting absolutely no one.
Oh, what a hot take.
And this whole conversation is absolutely ridiculous. It's literally Floyd just honey-dicking everybody. Again.
For like, what, the 5th time?
GSP learned how to honey-dick from Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
Also, Floyd literally did an interview about a week and a half ago where he literally said, I'm never going to fight again. I get paid $30 to $50 million to fight in 2-round exhibition matches in random countries. So no, Floyd Mayweather is not going to fight again.
But okay, so if he was, let's pretend.
Let's talk.
Because I agree with you, by the way.
Let's talk about why, and then let's say who it would be.
He's making.
So like, why is he even saying this? Why is he like?
Oh, so I mean, he's just throwing out his name into the news cycle again.
Well, do you think that he's going to have any type of business relationship with Zuffa Boxing, or do you think he's literally just drumming up publicity?
I think he's drumming up publicity.
So you don't think there's going to be like any business relationship?
No. I think if he was going to fight, he would probably fight Pacquiao for the second time.
I think that would be a really good fight. Honestly, I don't think Floyd will take it. I think Pacquiao right now. I mean, let's look at Floyd. Floyd's last 2 caliber of opponents was
Pacquiao and Canelo.
No, his last 2, the quality of his last 2 fights.
Gotcha.
Like the level of his competition, the stiffness of his competition. I'd say we're maybe 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 levels below the challenge Pacquiao would present right now. Because Pacquiao, he knocked out Thurman.
Yep.
That's a legitimate top win. Like Pacquiao is amazing. Like Pacquiao would actually be a legitimate challenge to Floyd's legacy. And if we go by his last 2 fights,
sure.
Like Floyd is not going to do anything at this point that will risk his record, that'll risk his legacy. I don't think he will take the Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao presents too much risk. I agree with you that would be the best fight to possibly make. There's a story behind it. I think it would do insane buys. I'd want to watch it.
Okay, but also in the Pacquiao fight though, Mayweather dismantled him. I don't know if you remember that fight.
No, I do. I remember
it was a pretty. I feel like it was a pretty dominant fight though.
Oh no, it was super. Like it's really funny because when you mention it, I remember it, the exact place I was at. I was at a seedy basement of a Mexican restaurant / bar that usually did salsa dancing that night, and it was a really terrible environment because half the people were mad that they couldn't do salsa dancing, so they'd shown up for salsa dancing. They were like, "What the hell? Why is there are so many people here for boxing?" And the other half was like, boxing. Like it was super Pacquiao room,
right? And
there were so many like women who kept yelling, "He's a pussy! Just hit him!" And it was the worst boxing viewing experience I've ever had going to a bar. That's why I remember it.
I saw it in a frat party. So
Did you actually?
Yeah.
We're just killing the game, man.
I know, right?
When we can't afford the pay-per-views, but we also don't want to sail the high seas.
Yeah, exactly. And they were showing it for free, so.
Don't you damn hate watching fights in public with people?
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate watching fights with my friends even here.
Yeah.
Like you and like maybe 2 other guys are the only people I can enjoy doing it with.
Yeah.
It's
well, it's just because everybody just wants to like see people get hit. Like literally, there was like 100 people in that basement, and then towards like round 10, there was like me and 4 other guys. Oh man, it was
Floyd did do a great job of like selling his fights while staying defensively sound enough to have all his. Yeah. But whatever. Yeah, Floyd kicked his ass.
Okay,
sure.
So and that's why I think that's the most likely fight because it'll be 51 if he beats him, right?
Yeah, and he would never take the Canelo fight.
No,
never.
I don't.
That would see if I could book any fight.
It would be the Canelo.
That would be really fun, just because it would be a good rematch. But
I don't think Canelo.
It doesn't tell us anything.
I don't think Canelo can go back down to that weight though.
I think you're completely right, and it's also it would be a fun fight just because it's like it's a rematch, and I would argue it's fair game since Floyd fought Canelo when Canelo was so young. I'm like, hey, it's fair for Canelo to fight Floyd when he's old, because Floyd fought Canelo out of his prime intentionally. So I don't have a problem if Canelo fights Floyd out of his prime. I'm also just a Canelo fanboy, so I would love if he could avenge it. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Do you think... Okay, so we know Floyd is down for a freak show fight.
I think so, yeah.
We saw that with the Conor McGregor. As much fun, that whole event was a blast. The lead-up was amazing. I mean, if we're going to talk about the king of honey dicking, Conor McGregor has to be up there too, because he actually made me believe that he had some type of chance, which is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
You would think his whiskey would be selling better. He's such a good salesman, right?
Yeah. If Chael Sonnen here, he was like, I think Mayweather or Conor literally was winning the fight with that uppercut in the beginning. You've got to say that. That's what people don't talk about. Is that he was winning round 3.
Let me offer you this. Where does Kevin Lee fit in to the Mayweather-McGregor fight? So I think I wouldn't actually be... I don't think that there's a narrative that makes sense, and I don't think there's a big enough star for Mayweather to actually do it. But I think he would box. If there was another MMA fighter where there was enough like
Khabib. If Khabib beat a certain opponent and then maybe like 2 others, then like I don't want to segue too early.
Yeah. And that's why we're the best podcast in the game. We have the best timed segues. our segues are timed better than Conor McGregor's outside slip kind of left.
Because I do think Khabib is becoming more of the gold pot for MMA.
So this is the issue. It depends on how you're looking at Floyd is going to try to present his business model. Khabib is huge in regions that don't buy pay-per-views. That's the issue. Right. The pay-per-view market is dominated almost like right now. As the pay-per-view market stands, it's Mexican American, and Hispanic sports fans that are driving most pay-per-view buys.
Really? Okay.
And then it's Britain, and then it's the rest of America.
Gotcha.
So those regions, like Latin America, doesn't really care about Khabib at all. Britain doesn't really care about Khabib. It's mostly like Russia and the Middle East, which don't have a historic pay-per-view market. So I don't think Floyd would want to take that fight because if you look at Floyd's career, he has done a fantastic job of taking fights that will sell pay-per-views.
Right.
I mean, he was known as the Mexican Killer for a long time, and he would always schedule his fights on Cinco de Mayo. Like, he specifically picks opponents to target those pay-per-view buys.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
With Conor McGregor, he targeted the casual pay-per-view buys. He targeted the Irish American, which is any white person. Like
with red hair.
No, it's not. It's literally any white person's like, I'm Irish American. Like, he targeted that whole market. I don't think that there's an actual financial payoff for, unless DAZN or ESPN or Disney or something was like, yo, we will just pay you because they want to push one of their streaming services.
Right.
But the Khabib Mayweather fight makes no sense from a pay-per-view buy.
It doesn't.
From a pay-per-view buy perspective. Right. And I'm not like, I'm with you. I think Floyd would take something because why would he care? He beat Khabib with one hand in boxing.
Yeah, he would.
And I just think the money needs to be right. Are there any other MMA fighters you could see him going with? I don't think the McGregor fight has any shine anymore.
No, yeah, and I think that there's no like you were saying earlier. I know Dillashaw was trying to talk about like, oh, I'd want to fight Mayweather.
That's like everybody when calls out Conor.
Right.
Like everyone from middleweight down to like atom weight.
Right.
And both genders call out Conor. It's like, no, yeah, of course you will.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense for them to fight you whatsoever.
Right.
At least TJ is somewhat in the same weight class or weight range. But no, that makes zero sense.
And if Dana White wants to, I think Zuffa Boxing is basically dead with DAZN. Because DAZN is making way more moves.
They're throwing so much money around, it's ridiculous too.
Yeah. So I think although I would love for like a UFC style boxing community like to be built up around Zuffa, like I don't think that's gonna work anymore.
Well, let me offer you this.
Okay.
We know Floyd. I think you're right. I don't think there's an MMA fighter right now he'd be interested in. Maybe Khabib in a few fights, but I don't think it makes sense for pay-per-view. Let me offer you this. Floyd's shown he's already willing to do a freak show fight. We both agree on that, yes? Floyd's shown that he probably doesn't want to risk his record with a meaningful boxing opponent.
Yep.
So I think boxing's out, MMA's out. What does that leave us? Well, my friend, we started this channel with a certain event that was able to generate pay-per-view buys that does appeal to one of the specific audiences that I just mentioned, the British pay-per-view market, and the casuals, and wouldn't risk Floyd's record in any meaningful way. Who am I talking about? KSI.
KSI?
I think if anybody, if Floyd's going to fight anybody in 2020, it's going to be KSI because he'll offer the most financial benefit, the least physical ramifications.
So do you think that he'd let KSI stay at 205?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure. Why not?
That'd be interesting.
Because KSI is 205 like I was 220 when I was a drunk ass like graduate student who was depressed.
So the only thing is I think that would tarnish Mayweather's legacy.
See, I don't think it would actually tarnish the legacy because I think like
it would make so much money that
and because I think it's so obvious what he's doing.
But
the only issue is how do you sell it?
Well, and
that's the problem.
And then also, not that like KSI is an actual competitor, but he did train at Mayweather's gym. He did like I don't know. It doesn't completely make sense to me.
Well, I'm just saying this because
multiple fronts.
Floyd's not going to fight anybody in 2020. But if he did fight anybody, KSI is by far the best opponent that he should fight, and it would make him the most money.
Fair enough, but that doesn't make sense for Zuffa.
Right, but I don't like. I agree with you. I don't think he's gonna do anything with Zuffa. I think that he was probably just. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in talks with Dana White.
Right.
I don't think he'll do anything. It doesn't make sense. Zuffa Boxing has no share in the market. They've got no. Like, Zuffa Boxing only works if they can convince people they have the top guys.
Right.
That only worked because there was no MMA fan base. All the people fought in Japan. Only like 10 people stayed up to watch the Pride events in the U.S.
Right.
And everyone else is lying that they did it.
Right.
To try to be like the casuals. Like, no, there were 10 people staying up till 4. And, like, that won't work. Boxing, that won't work. Like,
that's such a bummer.
It is a bummer, but hopefully DAZN can keep it going. I just wish, because Zuffa does do a good product front to back, generally.
Yeah.
These last 2 cards notwithstanding, that's what, if boxing could get that and get the pacing down, Fox did a good job with the
Fox
pacing.
did a really
you know
good.
what? I take that back. Fox killed it.
Yeah.
Those cards were great.
Great cards.
Santa Cruz, I'm a fan.
And one after the other,
They were great, yeah.
I think, to be honest, I think it was just
DAZN
mishandling the potential of the
Logan Paul KSI.
Logan Paul KSI.
See, I think they should have just done a bunch of YouTuber fights, done them quick.
Yep, and
and then thrown in one world-class boxer so everyone goes, whoa, this is super cool. And then KSI.
Because nobody wanted to analyze the fight. Nobody wanted to do any of that. Like,
exactly.
Just accept it for what it is. Don't talk shit about it. And
throw
just
some informational stuff like, hey, you know, in boxing, there's like, go really basic. Like, in between each fight, have a little 5-minute little segment where it's 2 pros who are articulate,
like explaining how to
boxing in general, like how you even think about strategy. Anyways, I need a segue, man. This is your thing.
Yeah. So
you mentioned TJ Dillashaw called out Floyd Mayweather.
That is true.
We just talked about. And my guy TJ's out here, and you know what? He's doing some
on
interviews.
A campaign.
He's on a campaign.
Politician.
I think TJ Dillashaw 2020 might be a legitimate campaign that's going. He does kind of look like he could be Donald Trump's grandson.
He's definitely a snake in the grass like all the other politicians.
That's true. Don't tread on me.
Yeah.
Don't tread on me, TJ Dillashaw. But anyways, TJ Dillashaw's making the rounds. Ariel Helwani's show. Speaking of the Logan Paul KSI fight, he went on Impulsive of all places, and my man is coming out presenting what a great argument that he basically barely even cheated.
Yeah, he barely cheated.
He barely cheated.
Yeah, and if anything, he was forced to take that EPO. Like, it wasn't even his fault. It like slid, he had his arm like this, and it just like slid like in a dart. Just right in there.
I, for one, think TJ Dillashaw, if anything, was the victim in this situation.
True. Yeah.
Because
he was stripped up in the prime of his career after almost beating Cejudo. Such a close fight.
If we can't expect Adam and Eve, the literal progenitors of the entire human race, to resist the apple, it wasn't really their fault. That was really Satan's fault. How do we expect TJ Dillashaw? How do we expect TJ Dillashaw to resist the EPO? I blame Satan again in this instance. And TJ's the real victim, not anybody else.
And he only did it once against. I don't know if you know if Henry Cejudo has a gold medal in the Olympics. Did you know that?
Whoa, wait. UFC double champion Henry Cejudo.
Triple champion.
It's a triple. He's got a gold medal too?
Yeah, that's
Wait, that means he's got triple 3 C's?
I would trip.
Is that 3 C's? Is he triple C?
Yeah, he's triple C.
Whoa!
That's fucking crazy, man.
I'm tempted to just start shooting up all the EPO I have under our podcasting table right now at the very thought.
Liquid paint going through your body.
Did you know that EPO, like when cyclists are taking EPO, it literally makes your blood so thick with oxygen platelets? Because that's how EPO works. If you guys don't know, it's a performance-enhancing drug you inject it, and it literally like causes your blood to have more oxygen in it. So cyclists in the Tour de France are notorious. They literally like guzzle EPO like the U.S. guzzles oil
from Iran.
Legitimate, yeah. like the U.S. Never mind. But the cyclists would use so much EPO that they literally would have trainers that would have to wake them up multiple times throughout the night because they would have to go for like hour-long rides multiple times throughout the night. Because if they don't get their blood pumping, their blood is so thick. that their heart can literally not pump it and they will die.
That's fucking crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
That's insane.
But anyways, let's break down this TJ Dillashaw horse shit.
Well, first of all, fuck TJ Dillashaw. That's number one. I'm a huge Cody fan.
Hey,
fuck that bitch.
TJ Dillashaw is one of the most fun, entertaining fighters. I think he has one of the best, most interesting striking styles in all of MMA.
Fuck that guy.
That being said, I'm going to address the arguments because that's my favorite thing in the whole damn world to do. So, TJ Dillashaw, he juiced once.
Which is horseshit.
Because of a botched weight cut.
Yeah.
That
was the argument?
This is the argument he's presenting. He juiced once because of a botched weight cut and basically was super, thank you. He was super unhealthy. He needed it. He was tempted to do it because there was mismanagement, right? Because he was anemic. That was his specific argument. He said he was anemic, so he took the HGH to thicken the blood, like I was saying, right? Now, there's a couple issues with this. Number one, does anybody else remember the last 3 TJ Dillashaw fights? Because I do. What was the whole promotion around it? Oh, that's right. He had a mad genius who used to be a math professor who literally...
Oh, the lifting guy.
Sam Calvita,
Yeah, gotcha.
who's doing his strength and conditioning, is literally taking blood samples from him every other half second.
Right.
And is monitoring every single vital sign. Do you think that this man might have been aware of anemia? Were there a concern with this?
Well, and then even it would make sense that he would need a fucking rocket scientist if
That's what it was. He's a rocket scientist.
If he's taking EPO,
which is rocket fuel.
Yeah, and you're fucking going to die if you don't get the right measurements right and all kinds of shit.
Oh no, but as TJ said, Sam Calvita knew nothing about any of this. The man who's literally measuring all of his vital signs knew nothing about the doping that was going on. Clearly,
so
that clearly wouldn't have affected any vital signs.
So the thing is that I kind of not that I ever respected TJ, but I thought
you're such a Cody fanboy.
You
literally are a Cody fanboy because you both have T-Rex arms and throw punches. Face the Pain. Whenever I hear Cody Garbrandt, I just think of everything goes red and Face the Pain starts blasting, and he starts looking like he's doing a brushstroke.
I feel so sad. All right, no. Okay, getting back to it. Getting back to it, man. Listen, I think that Dillashaw. I thought it was respectable that he tried to get ahead of the situation. I thought it was very strategic to say, you know what, I took EPO and then just
I thought he handled it the best he could have. But I agree with that.
But now that he's on this political campaign to kind of justify why, I think that's kind of a bitch move.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think it's actually gonna work. I think from a PR standpoint and a marketing standpoint, he is actually doing the right thing. Because you're right. What did he do? He came out. He said, hey, I did this. I'm going to take responsibility. I don't want to be a snake in the grass and whatever. Yeah. But he handled it well. Now it's been an appropriate amount of time. He's gone away. He's coming back. I think most people will view it as sympathetic. And honestly, I think if he had just given a better excuse for it, I think even we would have been like, oh, okay. If he had just said, you know what? Well, let me phrase it this way. Okay. If he had just said, I was just really tempted. 125 was too much of a weight cut for me. I felt it over my head. I panicked and I took it. I feel like I would be like, okay, you know what? I can understand that. That's very human.
Yeah.
It's the aspect. He pushed it too far in my book with the anemia, with claiming he had. I mean, let's be real. He was never going to be like, I always used it.
Yeah.
He was going to say it was just this fight. Right. So I'm not even going to jump on him for that because he has to say that.
The thing that would get me, and I do understand that I would be a little bit more sympathetic if I wasn't a Cody fan, so that's number one. But I would be a little sympathetic if before the fight was even confirmed, TJ was saying, I'm already cutting down to 125. I'm looking great. I'm shredded. I'm doing, he was clearly, the plan was to take EPO from the get-go so that he could get down to 125. That's what I think, and I think that...
No, I'm saying I agree with you.
Sure.
I'm saying I agree with you. I'm talking from...
Well, I'm talking about his argument, right? So you said that he had such a bad weight cut, but that wasn't the story before the fight was even booked.
But no fighter ever is like, my weight. Like that's but you said.
You're right.
I'm just saying. I think that he took almost all the right steps. Again, just from a PR standpoint, but then the anemia. It's almost like he tried to make it too sympathetic to himself. Right. And all the good work he had done where he was taking responsibility for his actions, which people respect. I still think he's going to get away with it because I just don't think most people are as hardcore and will remember like everything that went into this. I don't think it's going to work on hardcore fans, but hardcore fans don't matter.
Well, okay, so what? No, they do it in TJ's case. Do you think TJ's?
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Do you think TJ's like a Conor McGregor, where like every
he's transcendent?
No, he's not.
No, that's very fair point.
And all of MMA fans will remember that and be like, "That's a bunch of horse shit." That's my
I think he overplayed his hand. I think this is an example of like good PR strategy that it's like he sort of similar to the Cejudo fight in his narrative.
Right.
He made it all the way to the finish line and then messed it up in the very last minute because they did everything else right.
Right.
Like legitimately, if he had just said, I thought we could do 125. I was talking a lot of shit because I really wanted to have the legacy being a double champ.
Yep.
I was saying anything I could to get the fight. Once we actually did the weight cut, it was too much. I broke down and I took EPO. Yep. If he said that, it's like, if I really thought about it, I'd be like, oh, I don't believe you that this is the only time you took EPO.
Right.
Like, how many times do people just take steroids for one fight or performance-enhancing drugs for one fight? But it would take me a while. Like that.
Right, no, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I think it's just like the anemia, it's just too much.
Well, even when Ariel Helwani was all like, so have you taken drugs in the past? And then he was like, no,
Speaking of your boy Cody Garbrandt, though, when he goes, you know what? Yeah, he's dirty. He's the one who taught all of us how to juice. That was the best Cody Garbrandt moment.
Yeah.
That's one of the best MMA moments in history, I still think.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess I do know why. The UFC obviously wasn't going to broadcast that.
Throwing all of Alpha Male under
and
the
himself. Cody's like, hey, you.
No. Cody would never juice at all. There's no way.
You know why?
And if he did need to juice, it was because his tiny fucking arms. He can't catch anybody, so he needs the extra power. I just wish that all that blood flow went to his chin as well, so that he couldn't get knocked out. That'd be great.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway. TJ, you pushed it too far, man. You almost had a great chance at people giving you a redemption arc, but you didn't play your last card right.
To be fair, though, I think that people will still tune in to see him.
Oh yeah, that's my thing too. Is I think everybody's juicy, so. Yeah. I don't care that much. The thing that bugs me the most is when people are being dishonest.
Right.
And being more dishonest than they need to be in order to keep their jobs. Because, I get it. They can't come out and be like, yeah, I'm a juicy slut. Juice me up.
Right.
I'm OJ Juice Man Simpson,
but
right?
It just makes me... So I know you take the stance that everybody's juicing and whatnot, but to me it's sad when it's like somebody like Mark Hunt, right? And I don't know if Mark Hunt's juicing or not, but it would appear that he's not juicing. And for people like Mark Hunt to get dick slapped by people that are juicing and shit like that, it's kind of fucked up.
I mean, who are you referring to specifically?
Nobody.
I don't. What UFC heavyweight would you possibly think?
Definitely not the WWE person that wrestle fucked him to the ground their last fight. Not him.
I mean, I think Brock Lesnar is just a genetically gifted white boy, and you need to get over it.
Well, that's what
he said.
That's what the lawmaker said.
That's
so
what the lawmaker
I guess so.
said. Alistair Overeem, literally genetic freak. Maybe
Until
Mark Hunt,
USADA came.
Maybe Mark Hunt and other heavyweights should just be more serious and professional about their strength and conditioning routines, like Alistair Overeem and Brock Lesnar were.
I think all the Samoans in the UFC need to get on a fucking bicycle, take more EPO, and get shredded. That's what they need, and they'd be able to win.
Oh man, if Tai Tuivasa, if you add EPO to his cholesterol infested as circulatory system, that man is going to die so fast. So fast. You know what's funny is if I believed any division in the UFC now was clean, I would think it was heavyweight. For sure. If any division's clean, it's heavyweight. 10 years ago, no way, but now I'm like, oh, okay, maybe.
Oh man.
So I'm glad we it's kind of fun when we agree on stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when it was just like rag on TJ Day.
Oh man,
you got so excited for this story. We were talking about what we should cover in this podcast. TJ Dillashaw sent us some stuff. I feel like we should talk about it.
I fucking hate TJ.
He was trying to. I could see too. You were like, "Hey Wesley, TJ said this. Yeah. Hey Wesley, you love to talk about juicing. Hey Wesley, TJ's talked about juicing." Like, you were so down for it. It was amazing. But we've got one more big story to cover today.
So,
speaking of fighters, having inactivity for long periods of time, let's talk about a bout that was just announced, that contracts have been signed for it. I don't believe it's been officially announced by the UFC, but
I don't think Tony has signed yet.
Officially, yeah. Officially. It hasn't been announced that Tony Ferguson has signed, but Khabib Nurmagomedov, his father came out and has confirmed that he signed the contract to fight Tony Ferguson. So all kinds of people, from Ariel Helwani to Chael Sonnen to random terrible MMA journalists who literally just write down and tweet whatever fighters say on Ariel Helwani's MMA show. Peak journalism, guys. Peak journalism. At least we express opinions, but anyways, they're all saying Khabib, Tony Ferguson, it's happening. It's finally here. The fight's gonna be here. It's been made.
But the main issue is that it's not fucking ever gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Let me tell you why Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov is not going to happen. This is going to be the most logos-based argument that I have ever made in my life. These men are damn cursed. I don't know what they did. I don't know what American I don't know what Native American graveyard Tony Ferguson took a crap in. I don't know,
an acid trip and started hitting walls.
I don't know what Tony did. I don't know what ruin Khabib went into, what ancient temple he took an artifact from or whatever. But these men are bad juju. If this was a horror movie and Khabib or Tony were in my house, I would be like, okay, boys, bye. Y'all are getting killed by something out of this world because you guys.
Not by us, because I wouldn't be able to kill them.
No, nothing mortal. Honestly, at this point, nothing mortal can kill them. The UFC needs to book the fight versus whatever angry spirit there is, chasing their lives around. Let me tell you some damn numbers. So, this is our boy Khabib. This is how many fights Khabib himself has pulled out of. Let's start back in 2014. A bout with Gilbert Melendez is scheduled. Oh, wait. It was not officially confirmed, but the media was announcing that it had been signed and was happening. Wait, no, it was canceled for undisclosed reasons. 1. 2014 as well. Scheduled to fight Cerrone. Pulls out due to a knee injury. 2. 2015. Scheduled to fight Cerrone again. Pulls out with a knee injury. 3. Tony Ferguson Khabib gets made for the first time. Hey, that's great. 2 greatest of all time lightweight contenders going to fight each other.
Amazing.
Oh, wait. No! Khabib pulls out with another knee injury. 2016. Signs a bout agreement to fight Alvarez. He actually signs 2 bout agreements to fight Alvarez.
That was a great fight, too.
Wait, no, it didn't happen because the UFC literally honey-dicked him because signing contract doesn't mean anything. That's 5. 2017. Again, Tony Ferguson Khabib gets made for the 3rd time.
He pulls out again.
Pulls out a Ferguson fight because of a botched weight cut. That's 6 fights. 6 fights that Khabib has pulled out of since 2014 to 2017. Or that he's been a part of and that have not come to fruition. To be fair,
he's gotten a lot better. He's got his weight cut under control now.
To be fair, Poirier happened, blah, blah, blah. And the Alvarez one wasn't his fault. I only include that to show that a bout agreement... Again, MMA, damn media, how many times do you need to be shown? Fans, a bout agreement doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Melendez had a bout agreement. Khabib signed 2 contracts to fight Alvarez. That never happened. Now, so I've established Khabib is cursed. Let's talk about Ferguson.
Ferguson's insane.
So Ferguson actually isn't that bad.
No.
He's not quite the pull-out merchant. Khabib is the Walmart of pull-out merchants. Tony's running a little mom and pop shop of pull-out merchants.
Yeah.
He's still a pull-out merchant.
Respectable.
On a much smaller scale.
Careful with that. Tony does not pull out.
Oh, Tony doesn't
stays
pull
in
out.
there and
To be fair, Tony never pulls out, except when he's fighting Khabib
Okay, hold
2016, Tony pulls out a Khabib fight due to a lung injury. 2018, Tony pulls out a Khabib fight due to a torn knee he accrued during media obligations while he was wearing sunglasses indoor, didn't see a cable, and tripped over it.
Man, that cable, pound for pound, GOAT of the UFC.
So, to be fair to Tony, he has only ever pulled out of the 2 fight bouts he had scheduled with Khabib. Yeah. To be fair. But this is why I say Tony Ferguson is cursed. Let's go through this. This is the list of Tony's opponents that have pulled out of fights. So, starting in 2012, and this is a doozy, guys. Did I say doozy? I'm excited. I start talking like a grandma when I get excited.
Come on, you boomer. Let's go.
So 2012, he's scheduled to fight Dennis Hallman. Shocker. Dennis Hallman gets injured. Okay, they find a replacement. Tony Ferguson is scheduled to fight Thiago Tavares. Injured. Then he has to fight Michael Johnson. That's his only loss in the UFC.
Isn't that
so messed up?
That's so heartbreaking. Fuck,
so,
man.
A late replacement to a late replacement is Tony's only loss. Anyways, so that's the first one. 2014, he's scheduled to fight Castillo Ferguson. Oh wait, that's on UFC 176, the only major UFC pay-per-view.
And it was his brother. He can't fight another Ferguson. That's fucking
Castillo. Danny Castillo.
Oh, whoops! I'm sorry, my bad.
Who are you thinking?
I'm sorry, I'm a casual. Keep going.
No. Anyways, oh no, that bout, man, what a great fight Castillo Ferguson would be. Oh no, that's on UFC 176, the only pay-per-view that's ever been canceled.
Yeah. So
that fight gets rescheduled, so it does happen. But I'm just saying, he's cursed. Then 2015, Yancy Medeiros pulls out due to injury. 2016, the rematch with Johnson is scheduled. Yes, my boy Tony, he's gonna avenge his one loss. Oh no, Johnson withdraws due to injury. 2016, Michael Chiesa fight. Wow, what a great fight that would be. Grappling Fest, what an interesting matchup. Oh no, Michael Chiesa pulls out due to injury. So, Tony Ferguson and Khabib are cursed.
What a workup.
They are done. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for my middle school ass
Look at that.
presentation.
This is nothing but professionalism.
This is why we're the #1 MMA podcast in the damn world. So, I'm just saying, this fight is not happening, and you guys are welcome, because I'm going to tell you this now.
Yeah. So nobody get excited. Nobody book a plane ticket to, I don't know, United Emirates in the Middle East. Don't worry about it.
Or at least, somebody please do some sort of, human sacrifice to appease whatever vengeful spirit has globbed onto Tony and Khabib. I've never seen a fight get made 4 times and get canceled for the weirdest reasons.
It's fucking crazy.
I've never seen a fighter with so many opponents pulled out. Ever. It is. This is ridiculous when you actually go through it. And Khabib, I've never seen a fighter who's so damn good, and obviously it's such a great team around him, and obviously it's just a mental giant.
And based in wrestling.
Have so many issues with their knees and their weight cut.
Well, okay. So let's.
Only thing that gives me hope.
Yeah,
is what I think you're going to talk about.
Let's pretend that it is going to happen, right? And so my counters to that is, first of all, Tony can pull at any moment because he fucking sharpens his elbows with fucking blades and all kinds of shit like that.
That's the weirdest part is he doesn't get injured by any of his crazy training methods.
Yeah,
he got a lung injury. I've never even heard of a fighter getting a lung injury.
Scuba diving.
Was it scuba diving? Oh, I was sounds like a Donald Cerrone injury. So he got a lung injury and then he tripped over a cable doing media obligations wearing sunglasses indoors. It's not like the fact that he's on a Bosu ball doing backflips.
Yeah. While
throwing elbows onto a cheese grater.
Yep.
No, he's fine with that. That doesn't work.
It's just normal man shit.
That's what we're going to do when this podcast finishes.
So I do think that it is a good time, or I think it's more likely to happen this time, but because it's so far away, I cannot go through another...
the bout was scheduled for April.
Yeah.
The bout was scheduled for April.
April's a million years from now.
It's not even an exaggeration. It's half a year away.
Vladimir Putin could literally go down and kill Khabib by accident from some desert storm strike or some shit like that. That's too far away.
Yeah, it's bad.
But I will say Khabib is really good at weight cutting now, which is awesome.
He also hasn't pulled out of a fight since 2017.
Which is
also, to be fair to Khabib, Tony hasn't pulled out of a fight since 2018.
Yep.
Tony hasn't had an opponent quit due to injury. That wasn't Khabib. Well, I guess that was in 2017. So Tony hasn't had an opponent pull out since 2017. So maybe. And Ben Askren died as a sacrifice to the MMA gods.
Yeah.
Maybe everything is good.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But I will say that Khabib's mental health, or not Khabib's, Tony's mental health,
that is a concern.
Is a concern, and it looks like he has it all.
I've heard nothing
control.
bad. I've heard no rumors or anything even.
Like it's under control and all of that, but that's always a factor too, and whether, he's
gonna make it to the octagon.
Yeah, well, and such like an emotionally turmoil, like I feel like Ferguson's career, although he has had an amazing career, and I think he's literally deserves way more respect than he gets. He should have way more fans. He should be paid a lot more than what he's paid now. I think that his whole entire career has been highlighted by the fact that he's never been able to face Khabib.
Yeah,
and that to me, I feel like, and not to sound like a pansy or anything like that, but like that is emotionally taxing for an individual to like go through that kind of stuff for 4 times.
Honestly, for both of them, both of them, it's like, how do you focus on training camp that you've had 4 times already?
Right.
That like, do you believe the fight's even gonna happen?
Right.
Like truly, like I know they'll say they do, but in their heart of hearts, do they think this is actually gonna come to fruition? Because they poured their heart and soul into this training camp for this very fight 4 times.
Right.
And
it's if this fight were not to happen, that's probably like the most heartbreaking.
I think it's probably the biggest disappointment for a fight that never happened in MMA history, for sure. It's interesting. It's worse for Ferguson as well, because Khabib has
he has a title.
Khabib has the title. He has landmark victories over McGregor, over Poirier.
We'll forget about Tony's name in a couple of years.
If Tony needs an A-level win over like an A-level name, Tony doesn't. Who does Tony have? Barbosa and Lee. RDA. Those are his 3 best wins. But he needs like a true. I don't know. I want Tony to have a true A-level head on his mantle that I don't think he has yet.
Yeah.
And Khabib has 2.
Well, no, I mean he did fuck up Pettis.
Pettis is not A-level.
Yeah,
especially now,
you're
man.
Right, you're right. And the Kevin Lee one, it was a good one.
It was good, but Lee's record since then has made it look worse. Maybe Lee will turn it around to TriStar, and in retrospect, that victory will seem more impressive in the future. But Lee went on kind of a downswing after that. So and RDA, I'd argue as well. Like the RDA win at the time was like, whoa.
Right.
But
it hasn't aged very well.
I mean, RDA is still really good, but he's not, I'd say, like the A-level guy anymore. He's like a B-level guy, which is still amazing, and he's up a division. So I don't know. I want Tony to have a real trophy on his mantle, and Khabib is the. I mean, in lightweight now, I feel if Tony fought Gaethje, Poirier, or Khabib, or McGregor, that would give him the real
recognition that he needs.
Exactly.
Yep.
But then who knows? Because that's always the issue. Is like, what if he beats Gaethje and then Gaethje just.
Right.
Which I think Gaethje will fall off a cliff very hard.
Really?
At some point. I don't know when.
And not to segue into that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I actually do think Gaethje's getting a lot better.
I think Gaethje's getting better too. Yeah. But I think the issue is like with his fighting style. I think
his career's going to be short.
His career's going to be short, and I don't think it's going to be a like slow and steady decline. Like I'd say RDA has kind of had a steady decline to a degree with some ups and downs stuff, but sort of generally slowly trending downwards. I think Gaethje's going to fall off a damn cliff.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So who do you think? Okay, so who do you think? So the fight's happening in April. We'll pretend that that's happening.
I'm good at playing pretend. I play Dungeons and Dragons, so this is going to be a role playing exercise.
So who do you think would win?
Without really thinking through it too much, I'm inclined to say Khabib.
Khabib.
I think Khabib's a safer decision pick, obviously, because he's undefeated. Yeah. We haven't seen him be beat. He looked amazing in his last few fights. I want to think through it more, and I want to think of possible routes to victory, specifically with each fighter's tendencies. But
I'm not sure. So this is what leads me to a pause with Tony, is that all of his like 2 or 3 last wins have always been by like almost the skin of his teeth. Like when he fought Kevin Lee, they were like evenly matched.
Tony hasn't had a blowout win in a long time.
In a very long time. And
even
he's taken
like
a ton of damage.
RDA, Barbosa,
Yeah, even Barbosa was by the skin of his teeth too.
Venata.
Yep.
He got head kicked really badly in the
Yeah.
Venata fight, right?
Yep.
Like, when's Tony won a dominant fight? Then again, Khabib, I don't know. I have a hard...
So this is why I think that Tony could win, is because he keeps the forward pressure, which is something that Poirier kind of started to do for that split second that he hit Khabib with a left, and Khabib does not do well backing up. That's
Well, he can't do anything.
right. He can't do anything. You know, he can't impose his will. I think Tony has the chin to be able to eat an overhand right from Khabib, because I think he'll expect it, and I think he'll keep coming forward. And not that I'm saying that Khabib has...
I don't think Khabib would be able to set up the overhand right, because I don't think Tony's going to be that scared of the takedown threat.
Right.
Because Khabib's over...
Or he'll just roll with it and he'll hit his shoulder, right?
Khabib's got, like, good striking for sure, but he doesn't have... His striking is predicated on his ability to scare his opponent of his takedown.
Right.
So I don't think Tony is actually going to be scared of that takedown threat.
Right.
Maybe we're wrong.
And Tony, I don't think Tony has like knockout power. Not one shot knockout power, but he is good at doing a lot of combinations, which will back up Khabib even more.
It's weird because I would agree that he doesn't have like one shot knockout power, but he definitely hits hard enough that it gives the respect. You can see fighters visibly shooken
right.
by his strikes, which
right.
doesn't happen with everybody.
Right.
Also, Tony's fists are like huge.
Really?
His hands are enormous. It's actually, if you look at him, it's really weird. It almost looks like he's wearing full boxing gloves. I'm not even joking.
That's
like
crazy.
They're comically large hands. Yeah. So it's going to be an incredibly interesting matchup, and I'm going to think through it a lot more because I'm going to get honey-dicked. And I'm telling this for everybody. This was mostly a video essay to myself about why the fight's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm so excited at the prospect of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get honey-dicked. We all are going to get honey-dicked.
Because everybody's excited for this fight.
Oh, man.
When I saw that, like, because it was like announced like what, 2 days ago. Well, it wasn't announced. It was like
news started breaking 2 days ago, and then it seemed like news really broke yesterday.
Yeah.
With Khabib's dad confirming the contract signing.
And I'm super excited for the fight, and I really wish that this fight would be able to actually come to fruition.
It's the MMA community's white whale. Like I think it's the best fight you can possibly make in MMA.
Yes, I agree.
Which is awesome because you don't really get these types of matchups where you have two guys who run such long streaks. It's very like boxing-esque, except it's even rare because they haven't been fighting cans. They've been fighting in the UFC and they're all these streaks
for such a long time. Like they were trying to go up against each other in 2017 or 2016.
The first fight was 2015. Was the first time the fight was made.
Wow.
So it'll be 5 years.
To be fair, that in 2015 it wouldn't have been this momentous fight.
But the thing that's so crazy is these guys' streaks are so long.
Right.
It still would have been a really good fight even then. Yeah. It would have been like a 7 or 8 win streak for each guy, I think.
But I feel like they wouldn't have gotten paid as much.
Yeah. Well, I think it's better for both guys. And we have been teased so many times. Like
that everybody's excited for this.
Everyone's so excited.
If this fight is actually made in April, it would be for sure the best fight in 2020.
Yeah.
The best fight. Yeah.
As far as what it means, yeah.
Cause
stop it!
Because if Tony...
You're going to get me invested! It's not going to happen!
If Tony is able to beat Khabib, I think Tony would be probably one of the greatest of all time. And I do think Khabib's one of the greatest of all time.
If he beats Tony, he'll be the lightweight GOAT. Yeah. For sure.
For sure.
The lightweight GOAT for sure, and he has to start being in the conversation for GOAT.
Pound for pound.
Yeah. So right now, I think really in the conversation are GSP,
John Jones.
Jones for sure. I'm debating on Silva, Johnson, and
Mighty Mouse is not even...
Fedor. Those three.
Yeah. Oh, Johnson.
But to me, I feel like Jones and GSP are more impressive.
The Mighty Mouse?
Yeah, honestly.
I disagree.
This is another.
But anyway,
this is another. This is for probably next week or another time. This is like a good December topic. But do you want to cover anything else from the week with MMA?
I'm good, man.
I'm hyped. This is the perfect time for news to come out because there's no fights this weekend. But we've got Joshua Ruiz, not this coming week, but the following one, which
makes my fat little Mexican heart so excited for that.
I'm so glad when there's trash MMA cards that have the boxing the same night. Because I'm like, we don't really need to watch the whole boxing card probably because it's the zone.
Right.
But maybe we'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Just to see
if it's a better
works.
scheduling. All right, guys.
Have an awesome day, guys. Make sure you check in with us, not this Saturday, but the following Wednesday for the podcast. And then we will be doing the fight companion for the Ruiz fight.
And comment down below. Talk as much shit as you want. We love it. We like all that shit.
We love it. And
thanks, guys.
If you want to be mean. But also don't be afraid to throw an argument our way.
Also, if you think the Tony Khabib fight is happening, let us know. All right.
And tell us why.
Yeah.
Tell us if you're going to sacrifice like 4 ducks and a chicken to try to make it happen.
Or your child, whichever one.
Yeah. Whatever weird voodoo crap. We'll see you guys.